Alright, we are taking out the Tier 10 British fighter. This is the Swift. Hey there, Postal. Whoa, hey there. Yeah, okay. So we're taking out the Swift today. You know, I was tempted to take out a Spitfire. Hey, Max.
Pilots, get ready for action. Let's go.
Let's give the old salute, positive salute. We want to definitely get that. So Maxwell's in a Javelin, so I need to be paying attention to him. We've got 2 heavies, so who's on our team here? Ah, we've got a Tu-12. Oof! Oof! This is not the battle I would want to be in a Tu-12. Javelin should tear him up. Hell, the freaking 262 should tear him up. So our job is really going to be to try to be a pain in the ass to the heavies. Good thing this plane is really built to literally be a pain in the ass if planes have asses. 2 heavies. Oh man, I forgot. No, come on, let's see if we can turn around on him a little bit. I have... this Javelin's not going to get away. So, the... this plane, what's so great about this plane is nothing can get away from it. Like, a specialized XF-90, probably, I guess we can say that. But they've got to be, like, you know, going out of their way to stay away from it. This plane is so good at sticking with other planes, especially if they start turning. As soon as they start bleeding any kind of airspeed, this plane is all over them, because although it's not very, well, I was gonna say it's not very maneuverable for a fighter, but it actually is once you specialize it. Because it's so maneuverable and it still maintains really good airspeed. As you can see here, I can't even stick with this guy because I'm going too fast, not because he's outmaneuvering me. Let's get some distance, turn back around, and then laugh at him as my 30mm cannons wreck his face. Let's move on to the next one, shall we? Hello, sir. So with these cannons, when in doubt, aim further out. They're super chunka as far as damage is concerned. Okay, now close. But oh, is this guy coming back towards me? He is. It's HD2, you know, very fast heavy plane. Not faster than my cannons. And again, not faster than my plane, at least in a turn. So utilize that information when you've got this Swift. And yeah. So I really didn't like this plane when I first got it. I need to move further away. And that's because I was so used to the Spitfire line itself. Pretty darn maneuverable planes with 20mm Hispanos that, you know, just consistent and heavy damage dealing Hispanos. Then you get to this plane at Tier 10, and this plane is so much less maneuverable than all the Spitfires. But it has so much more airspeed. It is the fastest fighter in the game, right? So, you know, for me, I was stuck in my ways of the Spitfire, and you can't do that. You have to change your tact. And what that tact is a tap on the guns and a boost on the plane. And you can see I'm just like tearing up bombers here. Goodbye, sir. Thank you for joining us. Try again next time. And it's actually pretty maneuverable. All things considered, I mean, as fast as this plane is, you would think it'd be less maneuverable, right? I think for me it was just not maneuverable in my head, because of the Spitfires that I had gone down, and even the Attacker was pretty maneuverable at Tier 9. Oh no. Let's not have that crap happen. So is he going to turn and let me take him? Yep. So this is not like a lot of the other fighters out there. You're not going to get away if you start turning in a heavy fighter. Now the key though is you need to kill this guy before they take the center. When in doubt, aim further out. He's turning, so he's just kind of giving himself up. Problem is, he's just a little bit too close for my guns to be consistent. But I was able to kill him before they got the center sector there. Let's go ahead and move on to the next guy. There we go. Let's go ahead and move on to the next guy. Boostity boost. I didn't even have to use my engine cooling there to stick with that that 262. I did have it ready to go just in case he tried to straighten out and pull away. Golly, Greesh, going too quick, making it difficult to actually stick with these planes because they're just going so fast. I'm actually going to turn away from him so that way I can get some distance rather than turn with him. Paying attention to the map, we've got a bomber coming in, so I'll need to get up there for the bomber. Ow. I need to watch out for the bomb. That. Accidentally hit my turning consumable there. Not gonna be able to stick with him for too long. He's just going way too slow. Somebody's inbound on me. Yowzas. Taking chunks of my health out. Oh, this guy really wants me. Again, I don't understand why he's turning.
We are losing the military base. There are too many.
Not really sure that we are, but okay. Let's see if I can keep my guns to be cooled. 262s tend to get their engine knocked out. In fact, I think he just had his engine knocked out and he repaired it real quick, but again, he's still turning. He's not using his strength, which is his speed. But again, against this plane, I'm not sure you've got a lot of options when it comes to speed. The Swift right out of the bat, you know, fresh out of the box, has ridiculously good speed and can probably stick with a 262 without any major issues. And I've got mine specialized, so it's going to be even more speedy. Don't like that I don't have a whole lot of hit points, and now we're at the squall line. I hopefully will not get chunka by one of these heavies and taken out of the game in a cheeky manner. Oh, speaking of which, here he comes. Yep, he's definitely got a hard on for me here, but he's playing it smart this time. There he was. Is he still? Yes. Way, so let's take advantage of that. Take out this guy. Got to keep an eye on the map though. He's definitely coming back. Let's put our boost on. Let's not let him get away. When in doubt, aim further out. Goodbye, sir. Play with fire, you're gonna get burned. There we go. Who else? Who else? Now granted, this is a really good matchup for this plane. Those heavies just don't really, I mean, they've got a chance, but they need to play it very, very tactfully against me. Because otherwise, this plane is really kind of built for taking out heavy fighters. Hello? No!
Great job today. We'll be waiting for you back home.
That was a game and a half, wasn't it? Holy cow. So 22,000 personal points to Marseille and Ace McCampbell. A lot of shenanigans there. And so, honestly, like I said, this was just going to be one of those battles that's set up to be a good battle for the Swift. There was a center location that everybody wanted to fight over. And on top of that, the main enemies I had to worry about were heavies, which is what this plane is really good at taking down. If this was a battle that I had to deal with, probably like the most pain in the butt planes to deal with in the Swift are probably the Sabre and the 1101, because both of those have the ability to, the Sabre especially can stick with, maybe not stick with, but has a decent amount of airspeed, and definitely has some maneuverability to outmaneuver this plane. It has the airspeed to stick with it just long enough. The 1101 is kind of more of the same, and its guns are really good on the 1101. It's not quite as fast, but it can still be a pain in the butt to the Swift. So anyway, 21 targets, taken out. a lot of chunk of damage there, right? We just basically hung out in the middle and, you know, did what you kind of do in a Spitfire, hang out in the center and take down everything in under the sun in the defensive sector there. Didn't give our Tu-12 a whole lot of opportunity to take over too much stuff, but he obviously did get us air supremacy at the end there. I only helped get, like, I think, did I even get one sector technically? Yeah, I got one sector, that center sector. And unfortunately, like, you know, unfortunately, and this is even a clanmate of mine, it's just this plane is really built to take out these planes. And so I guess this kind of speaks to, well, if you're going against somebody, so if I was going against me in a Swift and I was in a Javelin, my goal would be to, once I got knocked out one time, or maybe even twice, and I just couldn't find a way, well then, you know, avoid that. They could have won this game by taking out the bomber and capturing the other sectors. They would have gotten more capture points. And I've done that before. I've taken a plane out, just getting completely owned by the enemy, because it's a one-on-one situation and your bots aren't helping or whatever the situation is. You can't just keep throwing yourself against that hill and dying. You need to find a different tactic. So that would have been my recommendation to the enemies. I'm glad they didn't do it, because it ended up being a ridiculously good game for me and a great game to showcase you know, what this plane is all about. Yeah, so again, when I first got this plane, I did not like it. I did not like it at all. I was so disappointed in it. But then again, this was my first tier 10 plane. My first tech tree line in the whole game. The line itself is kind of, it's been power creeped quite a bit. It's still a solid line. It's just not as strong as it used to be, with all the frankly overpowered tier 8 premiums that are tossed in the game with the jets and all that jazz. You know, the Spitfire 14 specifically is kind of knocked down a peg. It's a turn fighter, but it's not. It's mediocre speed, at least above the Yak line, and the Zero line is even more mediocre now that there's even faster planes in the game. It's still a solid line. You just have to be patient with it. It has really strong guns, so take advantage of the strong guns on this line. And yeah, you'll be a happy camper. The attacker is probably one of the best fighters in the game, to be honest, tier for tier. It's just it's a well balance between maneuverability, and you get that burst speed that you've been wishing for. And then the Swift, you just saw what the Swift can do. It kind of does a 180 from what the Spitfire is. Well, I say that, but in reality, it's still pretty darn maneuverable, all things considered, especially once you specialize it. It's just so good with the airspeed. It's just so good. It's so good. You just have to get used to those those 30 millimeter Aidens. Those are the most frustrating thing about this plane. They can be so fickle. Like I said, aim further out, tappity tap tap tap. Do not hold them down, and definitely go for. I would recommend going for Marksman 1 as your first item to go for. I might have even gone for Marksman 2 as my second thing to go for. But Aerodynamics Expert is definitely not a bad thing, because Aerodynamics Expert actually helps with both any of the speed mounted equipment or aircraft maneuverability mounted equipment. For instance, on mine, now that I've specialized it, I've got maneuverability for the airframe, I've got maneuverability for the power unit, and I've got you know, speed boost uprated engine for the other engine. I've also put on here my mixture control to keep the airspeed up even higher. So again, I wanted to set this plane up for being able to be a pain in the butt against all those heavy fighters. And it doesn't take much to make this a pain in the butt against heavy fighters, even things like XF-90s. I took some additional steps to help out the maneuverability, so if I get into a bind and I need to you know, outmaneuver something, or get into a quick dog fight, or just stick with something just long enough to be able to kill it, I can do that. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Have you been going down the Spitfire line? Are you taking advantage of the discount on the British planes this particular week? If you're going down the Spitfire line, are you struggling? I know, you know, back in my day, the Spitfire line was kind of like the go-to line. I haven't played it in a long time, and now that I have been playing it a little bit more, tier 8 and below can be kind of a struggle until you specialize those planes and, like, you know, over sync them basically, or overrate them. But I guess every plane's like that nowadays, with specialization being here so long, and there's so many specialized planes in the game. You know, this plane, I'm not, you know, this plane obviously isn't as good until you specialize it. It's still good. You just have to have the right play style. So, anyway, hope you're enjoying the British week. Take advantage of it. This line is still a viable line. It's got its hiccups, but I think it ends in one of the best planes in the game. Certainly one of the best fighters in the game. It's right up there with the Sabre and the LA-15. It's definitely one of the more fun planes to play. So I'm going to stop rambling now because you know that's what I do, and I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.